All right, now I'm pretty sure you all have seen this statement by the union by now. A response from the WNBA. I just want y'all to take a look at the length of the response, okay? This is what came out first. This is what the WNBA said. This is what they said, fam. Oh my goodness, man. Literally said, hey man, here you go. We done. All right, this is what they put out.
That image tells you everything about the current situation we're in. The WNBA Players Union just pulled off what they're calling a symbolic labor protest right outside the NBA store in New York. Their choice of weapon, an inflatable rat carrying a sign that literally reads, "Get it together," but the league's comeback was even more savage than the protest itself. We're witnessing a collective bargaining meltdown happening right before our eyes. And what's truly mind-blowing isn't just that they blew past the January 31st deadline without any agreement, it's how completely the players are getting destroyed in the public relations war they were convinced they were dominating.
Hey man, I don't mean to laugh at this entire situation, but at this point you have to, man. You literally have to laugh at this situation at this point, man. It's ridiculous what's going on, man. It's ridiculous. Just imagine you sent out this very thoughtful message about your relationship with your significant other, and then they say, okay. Now, I'm going to save you guys the time of reading this entire thing. I just want y'all to pay attention to this top, okay? They were talking about how the collective bargaining agreement had expired despite demonstrating how...
Check out this stark difference. The Players Union dropped this extensive, meticulously crafted statement about how the WNBA and its teams failed to meet us at the table with the same spirit and seriousness. They're going on about respect, about being recognized as legitimate professionals, and then the league fires back with what's essentially a corporate whatever. Thanks, 3 sentences total. That's literally it. It's like the negotiating version of being completely ignored on text, but here's what makes this absolutely wild. The internet didn't jump to defend the players like the union was expecting. Instead, social media went nuclear with ridicule. People started posting stuff like an inflatable rat. Seriously, that's your big power play within literal minutes. The visual couldn't have been more disastrous. You've got Nafisa Collier, who just recently was getting praised as one of the sharpest basketball minds around, now linked to a protest move that looks like it came from some random campus activism playbook. Breanna Stewart, easily one of the biggest names in the league next to Caitlin Clark, is part of union leadership that just basically called their bosses rats, while at the same time demanding those exact same bosses cut them way bigger paychecks.
Once again, right? And from my understanding from both sides, they're going to keep up with the status quo, basically saying they're going to keep negotiating the CBA, although the deadline is over with. They're going to have some type of moratorium proposal where they can at least try to start to get ready for the 2026 season if they have one. Now, what's crazy about that statement is all you can really do is say, hey, we're interested. Wait for the CBA to be done. Like, I don't know what else you can do, man. This is such a mess. You can't have the draft, right? You can't have the draft happen. You can't, and that's the expansion draft and the other draft. You can't have either one of those happening. You can't have anybody trading. You can't have anybody signing any deals. You can't do anything. You're at a standstill without this CBA being negotiated.
Now, this is where things get really messy, because what the players are actually asking for makes perfect sense when you look at it on paper. They want revenue sharing, which is standard practice in literally every major pro sports league out there. NBA players pull in about 50% of basketball-related income. NFL guys get 48%. Even MLS players, in a league that's still trying to establish itself financially, have worked out a revenue-sharing deal. WNBA players right now are stuck in a system where their salaries are just fixed caps, instead of being connected to how much money the league actually brings in. But there's a huge gap between wanting something that makes sense and actually knowing how to negotiate for it the right way. And what we're seeing right now is basically a textbook example of how to completely botch labor negotiations when everyone's watching. The minimum salary shot up from around $75,000 to over $200,000 in what the league put on the table. The maximum jumped from roughly $230,000 all the way to $1.3 million. We're talking about increases that are absolutely massive, The kind of money jumps that would have players in most pro leagues popping champagne and signing on the dotted line immediately.
What else can you do, man? It's such a mess right now. And the thing is, most players wait until certain players that played their position get signed for X amount of dollars so they can kind of have a clear understanding of where they stand at with their salary. They want to, see what's going on over here so I could possibly ask for this and say, man, I'm better than this player. So y'all should be able to give me this, right? Now, like I stated before, there are a lot of issues that comes with not signing the CBA, right? But Ramona Shelburne ended up bringing up something major that I almost forgot about. I want to read this to y'all, man. She ended up stating, while it doesn't seem like there are any immediate consequences to another formal or informal extent.
So here's what the union keeps quiet about publicly. They turned down those offers, not once, but multiple times. And every single time they said no, they didn't just politely decline. They basically went with not even close. Go back and try harder, which works fine as a negotiating move when you're actually holding the cards. But are they really holding any cards right now? That's the question that nobody in union leadership wants to face head-on. Leverage in these kinds of negotiations comes down to whether you can damage the other side more than they can damage you. Back in 2020, when they hammered out the last CBA, the WNBA was bleeding cash and absolutely needed the players to sign off on terms that would keep the league from going under. The players had real power back then. But 2025 is a totally different game. The league just wrapped up a season where Caitlin Clark showing up sent TV ratings through the roof by over 300% for her games. Attendance numbers got completely shattered league-wide. Merchandise flying off shelves. Corporate sponsorship money that seemed impossible just 3 years back is now happening left and right.
And arenas start to give dates away to other events. Now, when I finished reading this, the main team that I thought of was my beloved Atlanta Dream. Y'all know I'm in Georgia, so I have to go for them just a tad bit, all right? I have to go for them a tad bit. But we remember exactly what came out about moving that Indiana Fever game to State Farm Arena, and that was a conflict of scheduling. Right? So if you had a conflict of scheduling when you had all this time to actually schedule these games, just imagine the headache and the chaos that you all are going to have having this small window frame to schedule all these games, fam. All right, and I'm not just talking about moving the Indiana Fever games to bigger arenas so y'all can capitalize the most. I'm talking about all these arenas, fam. The small arenas, the big arenas. I mean, all these arenas get scheduled for something else. Whether that's concerts, whether that's comedian shows, whatever, stand-up shows, whatever it is, man. These arenas get scheduled for all these other things.
And this right here is what's driving fans up the wall about how the union is handling everything. Ramona Shelburne, who's probably one of the most credible basketball reporters out there, just dropped something that should have everyone involved in these talks absolutely panicking. She wrote, "I'm starting to hear increasing concerns about how this delay could affect scheduling next year." Translation, if there's no CBA, there's no schedule. And arenas start giving away dates to whoever else wants them. Think about what that actually means in the real world. The Atlanta Dream already had problems last season, with scheduling conflicts that made them move a Caitlin Clark game, because State Farm Arena was already booked for something else. That happened with a full year to plan everything out. Now picture trying to put together an entire season with just weeks or maybe months of heads up. Every single WNBA arena does multiple things. They've got NBA games, NHL games, big concerts, conventions, college basketball tournaments, Disney on Ice, monster truck shows. These places are booking stuff 12 to 18 months out. The Minnesota Lynx play in Target Center, which also handles the Timberwolves and major touring acts. The New York Liberty play in Barclays Center, one of the most jam-packed arenas on the planet. The Las Vegas Aces play in Michelob Ultra Arena, which sits inside a casino that has its own insane scheduling demand. If this CBA doesn't get locked down fast, teams won't just have trouble scheduling games. They'll have trouble scheduling games when actual humans can show up to watch. You could wind up with the Indiana Fever, the team everyone's dying to see because of Caitlin Clark, playing Tuesday afternoon games because that's literally the only time the arena has left.
People are going to have such a hard time scheduling these games, fam. This is something that Nafisa Collier was not thinking about when she said, well, we're running Unrivaled this way, so y'all should be able to run the W this way. Well, this is a part of that other side of the fence that you don't necessarily see, fam. All right, this is the part of that business side that you don't be seeing when it comes to Unrivaled. You know, y'all are in one arena, nobody is traveling. You have all these things to worry about when it comes to the WNBA, man. It's just crazy to compare responsibilities for Unrivaled to the WNBA. It's just completely in two different worlds, man. Let's say the CBA doesn't get done until March. Oh my goodness, can y'all imagine the chaos? I stated in one of my videos before, we're gonna need Noah's Ark to survive the flood of news that's gonna come in once the CBA is finished. Man, I mean, we're gonna have news left and right. Y'all probably gonna be tired of us YouTubers, fam. When the news is getting dropped.
But wait, it gets even more insane. Without a CBA, there's no draft happening. Not just the regular draft where college kids join the league, but also the expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries, who are supposed to start playing in 20. The Valkyries already sold thousands of season tickets. They hired their entire front office crew. They dropped millions, building out their practice facility and getting operations running. And right now, they're completely stuck. They can't officially lock down their general manager with a real contract. They can't talk to free agent. They can't make any trades. They're basically a franchise sitting in neutral, burning cash every single day, while the union puts on shows with blow-up rats. Free agency is completely frozen. Players who should be out there negotiating contracts right now, using the market to figure out what they're actually worth, can't do anything. Role players who need to see what the stars at their position are getting before they work out their own deals are just waiting around. Teams that want to make moves to build around their best players are paralyzed. The entire league is basically on pause because these two sides can't figure out how to make a deal. And here's what's really getting under fans' skin. Most players aren't coming out publicly to back the union's tough guy approach. You're not seeing tons of social media posts from regular players going stay strong, don't give in. What you're seeing is crickets, which tells you that plenty of players are looking at what's being offered, an offer that would more than triple some paychecks, and thinking maybe we should grab this and try again in a few years, when we've got more power.
But, man, they need to get this done, fam. Honestly, the last thing you guys want to do is add any more negative impact to you guys' income. All right? Y'all are waiting so late to get the CBA done. Like Ramona brought up, it's hard to schedule these games. And we know a lot of the teams do understand that Caitlin Clark has this crazy wave that they could capitalize off of, and they want to move those games to bigger arenas. It makes a lot of sense. It's a great business mindset to have, right, when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And y'all are making that tougher to do. We know that they have been struggling to make a profit, all right? They can make revenue, but they are not making profit.
Now you've got the younger generation starting to take shots at the veterans running these negotiations. Rika Jackson, who's playing in Unrivaled, dropped some comments that you can only read as a dig at the older players. She's talking about being young with money, young and having fun, while the vets are stuck in CBA talks that are making everybody look completely disconnected. It's not super obvious, but it's definitely there. The age gap in the WNBA is real, and it's starting to crack the union's united front in ways that could really hurt them. Because here's what the younger players are seeing. They watch Caitlin Clark create interest in the league that nobody's ever seen before. They see packed arenas and games on national TV. They watch their own social media numbers blow up because of all the attention Clark brought to the sport. And then they see the union, which is mostly run by veterans who played in empty gyms for years, potentially mess up all that progress over demands that might not make sense, given what the league actually makes money-wise.
On the line, let's just get this one done and then see what you can get next time. Y'all went from, what was the lowest, 60,000? 70,000? Y'all went from 70,000 to $250,000 as a minimum? Come on, man. Y'all went from 200,000, what was it, 200, maybe 50,000 as a max to 1.3 million. Yo, that's a huge increase, man. You know, take your dub where you can, fam. And then maybe down the line, y'all can figure something out to get that pie when it comes to the revenue. Y'all can get that pie to start favoring the W more. But anyway, to finish off the video, man, we have Rika Jackson throwing shade at the veterans, man. What is going on here? After Breeze ended up winning another game last night in Unrivaled. Shout out to my Breeze. All right. Yeah, Rakia Jackson throwing shots. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this.
Yeah, we youngins. That's it. We're not nobody's like kids, daughters, nieces. Y'all not sunning us. We young.
I'm getting hurt. I have a lot of money. Youngest part.
All that. Y'all want to be us. They keep calling us kids, but ain't it more embarrassing to get beat by kids?
Oh, man. Now, she could be playing. I don't know, but shots fired, man. Shots fired at the veterans, man. Y'all better respond. You got 24 hours to respond. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything that's going on with the WNBA and the CBA negotiation. I know it's an exhausting thing to talk about, but I had to update you guys after the deadline has been passed. Let me know in the comment section. I love y'all. Y'all keep it smooth.
Let's break down the revenue sharing demand specifically, because this is where the union's whole argument completely falls apart when you really look at it. Sure, the NBA has revenue sharing, but the NBA actually makes money. The WNBA, based on every serious financial breakdown out there, is still losing cash. The league gets propped up by the NBA for tens of millions of dollars every single year. When you're asking for a cut of revenue while the league is operating in the red, you're basically asking the owners to lose even more money, with a promise that eventually, at some point, the league will start making profit and then everybody comes out ahead. That's not a crazy thing to ask if you're negotiating when the owners absolutely have to have you. But the owners don't absolutely need the players right now. The league has serious momentum. Interest is higher than it's ever been. The 2025 draft class looks solid. If the current players decided to skip a whole season, the owners could probably handle that storm better than the players could handle a season with no paychecks coming in. That's not about right or wrong. It's just how leverage works in these kinds of fights. And the players have to understand this. Nafisa Collier is legitimately brilliant. Breanna Stewart has been through major negotiations before. Nika Agwamike, another union leader, has an MBA from Stanford. These aren't people who don't get how business works, which makes their public game plan even more confusing. Why stage a protest that makes you look like amateurs when you're demanding to be treated like professionals? Why compare your bosses to vermin when you need those same bosses to willingly agree to pay you more? Why let the January 31st deadline come and go without a deal when every single day that passes creates bigger problems? The only thing that makes sense is that union leadership really thought the public would have their backs. They figured fans would see the inflatable rat and think, yeah, screw the owners. They thought the story would be greedy billionaires refusing to pay women what they deserve. Instead, the story became delusional players who don't understand reality, turning down incredible offers while putting on cringe-worthy publicity stunts. So here's exactly where things stand right now. The CBA died on January. Both sides claim they'll keep talking, but there's no deadline, no pressure, no real consequences for letting this drag on forever. The league put out a statement about some moratorium proposal that would let teams at least start getting ready for a possible 2026 season. But that's not fixing anything. It's just slapping a band-aid on a bullet wound. Meanwhile, every day that goes by makes the scheduling disaster worse. Every day that goes by gives arenas more reasons to book other stuff instead of saving dates for a league that might not get its stuff together. And the players are learning something that every labor union figures out eventually. Public support has limits. You can be totally right about what you're demanding and still get destroyed in the PR war if you handle it terribly. WNBA players are discovering that being underpaid compared to the value you bring doesn't automatically mean people will support you holding out for more when you're already being offered money that could change your entire life. Look at it from where fans are sitting. Your average WNBA fan probably makes $50,000 or $60,000 a year. They're supposed to feel sorry for players who are saying no to offers that would pay them $200,000 minimum, over $1 million maximum to play basketball for 4 months. Yeah, those players create more value than they're getting paid. Yeah, the owners are billionaires who could definitely afford to pay more. But when you're asking working-class fans to support your labor fight, staging a protest with a blow-up rat while demanding a piece of revenue from a league that doesn't turn a profit is a really hard sell. The union's biggest screw-up was thinking that all the excitement from the 2024 season would turn into power at the negotiating table. But being popular doesn't automatically equal having leverage in labor talks. Leverage comes from being able to hurt the other side. And right now, the players' ability to damage the owners is pretty limited. If there's no 2026 season, the owners lose money. But the players lose everything they make. The owners have other businesses, other investments, other ways to make money. Most WNBA players don't. Caitlin Clark could sit out a season and probably make more from endorsements than she'd make playing. But most players can't do that. Most players actually need that WNBA paycheck, even if it's not as much as they should be getting. And union leadership seems to have completely forgotten that when they decided to play chicken, here's what's probably going to happen next. The negotiations keep going for another few weeks or months. The union slowly figures out they don't have the power they thought they'd. They take something pretty close to what the league is offering now, maybe with some tiny wins that let them claim they got something. Everyone pretends it was a fair fight, and then in 3 or 4 years when the league hopefully actually makes money, they try again with real leverage. But the damage from this whole mess is going to stick around. That inflatable rat is going to become a meme that haunts these players for years. The image of the union demanding respect while staging what looked like some college protest is going to be tough to live down. And most importantly, all the good feelings that players built up during the 2024 season, the sense that the WNBA was finally breaking through and deserved more support, got partially wasted by a negotiating approach that made them look completely out of touch with reality. The really sad part is that the players have real complaints. They absolutely deserve a bigger piece of the money they helped create. They absolutely deserve better travel, better facilities, better everything. But you don't get what you deserve in negotiations by demanding it while holding a blow-up rat. You get it by building real power, by making yourself impossible to replace, by making the cost of not giving you what you want higher than the cost of giving it to you. And right now, WNBA players haven't done that. They've shown the league can survive without them for a while. They've shown public opinion can flip on them fast. They've shown their union leadership might not be as smart as everyone thought. None of that helps them get a better deal. So you have to ask yourself this. If you were a WNBA player right now, would you trust your union leadership? Would you want to risk your paycheck, your career momentum, your financial future on a negotiating plan that's already blown up publicly? Or would you be one of the players quietly hoping leadership takes the current offer so everyone can just move forward? Because I promise you, there are players having exactly that conversation right now, wondering if this fight is worth everything they're potentially losing. Let me know what you think in the